how I obtained my driving license in New Jersey. Hello everyone, my name is Katya and I have just graduated from Princeton University. In this video I'll share my experience obtaining a driving license in New Jersey. A little bit about me, I am 21 years old and I came to the US for college. Having spent a few years in this country, I realized that I really need to learn how to drive because the public transportation in the Princeton area is limited. If you want to get to Wegmans or Trader Joe's or Target, they're all located outside of the town and you need to drive. So my senior year of college, I finally got to applying for the driver's license, and here is how I did it. Step 1. Initial appointment. First of all, I had to schedule an initial appointment at a local branch of the Department of Motor Vehicles in New Jersey. There is one that's 10 minutes away from Princeton, and I had to go there and present 6 points of identification. Initially, I was very confused about these 6 points and what exactly that was, but basically, there is a PDF document on the official website. I will link it in the video description. There are like a few categories, I think 3 categories in total, and you basically have to present a document from each category. So for example, there is a category about identifications. You can show your passport or your green card. There is another important category, which is the proof of residency. So when you're applying for the driver's license, you should apply in the state in which you live. That's a requirement, and you have to prove that you live in that state. So that's what they mean by the proof of residency. And there are multiple ways to satisfy it. So for example, if you rent a place like an apartment or a room and you have a lease agreement, you can show that as a proof of residency, or you can show your bank statement that shows your current residential address. That also works. So you should really look into that PDF document and make sure you can present the documents that they're asking for. In my case, to satisfy these requirements, I had to show 3 documents: my green card, my social security number, and my bank statement that showed my residential address. After you show your documents and you're all good, they're gonna give you a New Jersey driver's manual, which is also available in PDF format. It's basically a list of the basic rules that you have to know for the knowledge test and in general in order to be able to drive in New Jersey. After you've completed your initial appointment, it turns out that you can actually take your knowledge test immediately when you're there if you want to. I did not know that. I thought you have to separately first schedule an initial appointment and then schedule a different appointment for the knowledge test. So I wasn't ready for the knowledge test at the time when I came there, so I just told them I'll schedule another appointment for the knowledge test and go there another time. But if you are ready, you can just combine these 2 appointments into one and pass your knowledge test immediately there. In my case, I went home and scheduled another knowledge test appointment in a few days. I completed my initial appointment at the end of March of 2023, and I scheduled my knowledge test for April of 2023. Step 2. The knowledge test. The knowledge test is a 50-question test based on the information in the New Jersey driver's manuals. I use this website to practice for the knowledge test. I will also link it in the video description. So I spent around 3 days learning the basic rules and different road signs and did a couple of practice tests. And when I came back to the Department of Motor Vehicles for my knowledge test appointment, actually it turned out that most of the questions that I practiced weren't on the test, and basically the test was very different from what I saw online. To pass the test, you only need to answer 40 out of 50 questions correctly. And as soon as you answer 40 questions correctly, the test is over. I passed my knowledge test from the first try and then just went ahead and scheduled my road test. Step 3. The road test. Once you pass the knowledge test, you are supposed to wait at least 3 months before you can take your driving road test. That is true if you're over 21. If you're under 21, then you're supposed to wait at least 6 months before you can take your road exam. And in the meantime, you're supposed to practice driving. So because I had my knowledge test in April of 2023, I scheduled my road test for July of 2023. Now let me tell you what skills they actually test on the driving exam. I specifically took my road test at Basin. That's the branch of the Department of Motor Vehicles that is closest to Princeton. So what I was asked is, I was asked to parallel park and then to do a K-turn immediately after doing my parallel parking, and to stop at the stop sign. Obviously that's a given. And then I just had to drive on a road that had some turns and also a 180-degree turn, and after that I was pretty much done. I didn't need to drive in real traffic or on highways, which was very good. So the test was relatively easy. Yeah, so during the whole road test, the examiner was sitting next to me and he was just giving me instructions on what I should do. Like, for example, oh, can you parallel park now? or can you just follow the road and keep the speed around 25 miles per hour. Also, the examiner asked me random questions while I was driving, like random questions about myself, like about where I'm from and my college and completely irrelevant things. And I was confused because I wasn't sure if he actually is testing my ability to focus on the road and ignore his questions, or he was just being chill and nice and just wanted to learn something about my home country or where I studied. The way I approached this is I would complete my action, whatever. Like, for example, if I needed to turn, I would first turn, and only then, like when I just had to go straight and it was easy, only then I would respond to his questions. But otherwise, I would just focus on my driving. When I was doing parallel parking, the examiner was actually on his phone talking to his bestie. And I was also very confused about this part because I thought the exam would be much more serious than this. Like the examiner would be serious and he would pay full attention to whatever I'm doing. At the beginning of the test, he actually asked me if I'm stressed or nervous, and I was like, no. And he said that I shouldn't be worried because this is the easiest road test ever. Yeah, so I guess he was very chill. The whole exam took probably at most 10 minutes. One thing that was a little bit difficult is the parallel parking. It was difficult because the cones that mark the space in which you have to park, they're not tall enough. So when you start parallel parking, at some point you stop seeing the cones that are near the front of your car. So at some point when you parallel park, you just lose sight of the cones in front of the car, and it's extremely difficult to tell whether you're on the right track. Parking. Also the cones, like they're spread. It wasn't corresponding to like the usual size of the car. So there were only cones like somewhere here instead of like showing basically like the size of imaginary car. Other than that, the exam was very smooth. As soon as it was over, I was told that I passed it and that I can pick up my driver's license immediately. So I went inside the building, Department of Motor Vehicles. They actually didn't give me the actual driver's license card, which I thought they would. Instead, they gave me a piece of paper that basically said that I can temporarily drive until I receive my actual driver's license in the mail in 2 to 3 weeks. I'm still waiting for my driver's license to arrive in the mail, but in the meantime, I can drive using the piece of paper that they gave me. That was my experience getting a driver's license in New Jersey. All in all, I spent around 3 days preparing for the knowledge test and around 20 to 25 hours practicing driving. I was mostly practicing parallel parking and K-turns. I hope this video was useful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment and I'll make sure to respond. On this channel, I'm making videos about my life in the US and my experience in graduate school at Harvard. So if that's something that's interesting to you, feel free to subscribe to my channel and I will see you very soon. Bye.